Hello, everybody, and welcome to OpenExO Live. It's really good to be with you this evening for me, or maybe it's early morning or afternoon for you, wherever you are in the world. And this week we have Magdalena with us, who's calling in from Munich in Germany. And as you can see, we have some awesome people coming up in the next couple of weeks. And if you're a community member and are interested in joining OpenExO Live, do head over to the marketplace on the OpenExO platform, and you can apply to be here and to share your EXO journey. And before Magdalena comes up on stage, I do have a few messages from some community members that have been shared. So I'll start with this first one, which comes from Gerard. And it just says, Magdalena is very dedicated and loyal as a team member and has a superpower using her perfectionism to her advantage to create hyperfocus. She is a great example of an innovation entrepreneur with an open mindset. Magdalena's positive social mindset will give a voice to those with solutions for the big problems in the world. Next, we have from Rajiv. Magdalena has a clear purpose. She is passionate and driven about giving a voice to the voiceless. A quick and keen learner, Magdalena is an incisive mind. She cuts through the noise straight to the heart of the matter to distill insights and clearly and powerfully articulate her point of view. Her commitment is phenomenal. She always goes first and takes complete ownership. She ensured the team had her inputs to complete our tasks on time, even when she was not available. In essence, Magdalena is leadership personified, a clear purpose, decisive action, and measurable impact. We also have from Kenny, Magdalena has the mindset of an entrepreneur and wants to create memorable customer experiences. She has a passion for innovation, disruption, and is actively working for a sustainable future. I was in the same cohort as her during our Coach Sprint course. Her positive and energetic ways of being made it a delight to cooperate with her. And then lastly, from Daya, Magdalena is a very special person, enthusiastic, mindful, kind, a real team player, and a great woman to work with. She has a deep corporate experience in many fields, including innovation. She has tons of creative energy to explore how to go beyond the corporate boundaries. Really excited to hear your conversation with her, Kevin. So these are some of the messages that have come from members of the community. And with that, I want to just welcome up Magdalena to the stage. How are you doing this evening, Magdalena?
Hi, Kevin, and hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I feel so emotionally touched by the feedback that the colleagues shared. Wasn't prepared for that, so thank you so much for the lovely feedback.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I do like to share that sort of feedback because I do think our community is a special one. And with that, I always like to start the conversation for you to share a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then also how you came to join the OpenExO community.
Sure, very happy to share, and maybe I can structure it in a way that I share a personal story that has shaped me to the person who I am. Then tell you a little bit about my professional background, my passion, and how that led me to the EXO community. So starting off with a personal story, I'm originally from Bulgaria. I came to Munich 20 years ago and had the opportunity to start a brand new life from scratch. And when I mean from scratch, I arrived here with 1,200 euros in my pocket. I, in fact, had a
Wow.
fight with my dad before leaving Bulgaria. We are in a perfect relationship today. No worries on that. But what it meant back then was I couldn't call for more money. So this was the budget I had to operate with. And basically, I had no friends, no job, no place to stay, just a ticket to the university. And I think what this great experience has taught me is adaptability, fortitude, entrepreneurship to find opportunities in difficult situations, and ultimately to develop coping skills. And I think the biggest lesson I learned is that there is nothing impossible. And that the way Wolfgang von Goethe puts it, to be successful, you need to have clear goals and a burning desire to achieve them. So this has been my motto ever since. In terms of my professional background, I've been working for 5 years for an SME. And in Germany, since I finished my studies, I've been working in the insurance industry for the past 15 years. I had the opportunity to look into different areas of insurance, underwriting, product development, claims, and also a bigger part of my career has been in market management, in different functions. But more importantly, where I spent the past 7 years was working on customer experience excellence, which is my true passion, packaged with design thinking. I think this is a very powerful cocktail of topics. And then moving on to how this led me to the EXO community. Actually, in 2017, an event in my professional career happened, which caught me completely off guard and made me really stop and reflect and go deeper and understand what is it that I want in life? What am I passionate about? What is my purpose? And I had to change a lot of my routines. And in order to get some inspiration to design that purpose, I wanted to surround myself with brilliant people. And how do you do that? I started listening to podcasts and to TED Talks. And yeah, one day I was working out in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning. And eventually I came across Salim's talk about the death of corporations and the exponential organizations. And we all know Salim. He's brilliant, visionary thought leader, and a great presenter. So he truly inspired me. I immediately ordered the book, Exponential Organization. And this is how I started my journey to the EXO community.
Oh wow, that's really really awesome to hear. And you mentioned how you were looking at purpose, and one thing that many people in the community have done is developed their own sort of personal MTP. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey for you so far?
Yes, and like you mentioned, it's a journey and it's still in the making. So, I mean, one thing I know for sure is that I want to touch human hearts. I want to make people realize their potential, to make them feel validated, heard, and special. And I definitely want to make a change in the world and really play an active role in shaping a sustainable future. So this is what I know that I want to do. There are a couple of topics I'm passionate about. As I said, the customer experience excellence, design thinking, obviously exponential technologies, and the immense power they have to solve global grand challenges. So I'm kind of hovering around those areas. And then one thing that happened during the EXO Sprint Coach certificate is that we developed an idea around the concept of decentralized autonomous communities and NFT, which we call Brave New World. And the MTP there is to give people who care superpower. So I felt in the making of this idea that this is even bigger than what I have been aiming for. So I'm very open. I'm in the process of defining my personal MTP, and I'm looking forward to a great journey. And one thing to mention is that, when I brainstorm, I eventually arrive at the OpenExO MTP, which fully resonates with me. But then I want to have something more original. So I'm sure it will come very soon.
Absolutely, I'm sure it will. And the fact that many of our communities MTPs are quite close to the community MTP, is really awesome, because it means we can can all be driving towards that one goal. And you mentioned how you've recently been on the sprint coach certification. What would you say was sort of the I guess the major learnings, or the or what did you really take away from that process? I mean, sounds like it was great, especially that one initiative that you came up with. But what were some of those learnings and takeaways?
Yeah, happy to share. So, I very honestly, this has been a personal transformation for me. If I had to describe it in one word, is I felt that this is the place where I belong. So, this community. I also had the feeling that my full potential is being explored and I'm really in the right place. What was really great about this training was that, I mean, the first thing, so basically, sitting with these amazing people from around the world, and we had a lady from New Zealand, we had a colleague from India, from Nigeria, and we were three people from Europe, so Sweden, Netherlands, and myself from Munich. So having this beautiful diversity of
Mm,
mindsets and perspectives, and then sitting together and discussing the global grand challenges and how we could solve these with exponential technologies. This was extremely rewarding. And so I felt like I'm amongst like-minded people. And this is what I loved. Also, another learning is so in week 0, you need to build a team and get to know each other. And our
mm,
head coach, Dea, gave us a lot of tips how we could do that. But one thing I kept and I'm keeping with me ever since was we were supposed to answer the question, what are 3 events in your life that shaped you? And when you hear your colleagues sharing their personal stories, and sometimes it's really between life and death, is
mm,
creates such an emotional connection, which I never had. I've been part of many workshops, never had that before. So this was something
mm.
super great. And what I wanted to also highlight was in one of the weeks, week 4, we had Michael, Michael Bankole Joseph, who is a professional coach based in Nigeria. He works in a tech hub there, where he's helping the crazy millennials with their bold ideas build up a company. So we had the privilege to have him coach us during that week, and it was
Mm.
just an amazing experience. And basically, it made me realize what the Exo Sprint coach would be in reality. And it has
Yes.
so much potential. If you have open minded people, you have the right coaches in place, you have the technology, basically, it's limitless. And by the way, Kevin, I would like to encourage you to invite Michael to share his story because he is really a
Mm.
brilliant human being. So, just as a side note.
Absolutely. I have, and I need to poke him again.
Good, very good. So, yeah, these
Yeah.
are some of the
So
learnings. Then I think within our community, it goes without saying that the EXO attributes, obviously the 4 6 Ds, and how to build
yes.
an exponential organization with the simplicity of the business model. All of that is, of course, there.
No, absolutely. And so, having done that, would you say that in in your work life now, are you thinking with a slightly different sort of mindset, looking at things quite differently? How would you say it's sort of have just affected day to day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things which really struck me and which I took away is an exponential organization is very light, very simple. I mean, looking at the Airbnb and Uber example, where you create a platform and offer and demand works for itself, you just have to facilitate
Mm,
it. So my key takeaway was how to create a business model which helps run the organization itself. And I was on holidays last week and I was playing with an idea that came to my mind, and then naturally I started applying some exo attributes and thinking, how could you be running that idea from your computer? And I think this is where the exo attributes, business models, and methodology comes in place. So yeah, I think this is one of the ways that I'm using it.
no, I mean, that's so true and so awesome. I think, ever since I first read the book, and then also, I mean, got immersed in the community. You know, that's also my route into the community was initially reading the book and saying, wait a minute, there must be a community based around this. There must be other people who are thinking this way too, and and then having gone through the certifications and interacting with the community, i I find it difficult not to see things and go, oh wow, that's a really great example of staff on demand. And or I wonder how we could use the data better, and also get fairly frustrated, when you perhaps looking at at programs that are being run perhaps in schools. I was I I was at the airport yesterday, and so took an Uber, and chatting to the Uber driver, and him telling me how his kids are struggling at school because all day they I mean, when they come home they get to use phones and tablets, and school's just so boring, right? And that's what he was saying. And I was thinking, oh, I mean, what are the engagement attributes, the gamification we could do, what and all these things. And so I struggle not to look at everything in life and think, oh, how could we make this more exponential? So
There is so much potential out there. You're absolutely right. But I guess that's the beauty. A lot of work for us to do to help
absolutely.
actively shape the future.
And so you shared on the coach certification, around the sort of diversity of the team, and some of the ideas that you came up with. Have you been able to to interact with other members of the community at all? And what have your thoughts been there, or the experience been like?
Yeah, it's really a wonderful community with a vast amount of expertise that you can tap in so easily. And what we had, so we had an advisory call with Caesar from the US, who is an expert on the DAO model. And it was, he even spent more than 30 minutes with us and shared so much expertise on that. And it felt a little bit like, okay, we were the dreamers who are going to change the world. But then he gave us the substance and gave us all the critical points that he had. So I think these kind of conversations are super valuable. Also, during the Disrupt session, we got
Mm,
tons of super valuable feedback. And this is also something that we want to do. We want to actually continue the journey of learning with this
yes.
idea we developed, a Brave New World. We want to post it on the SWOY platform. We, of course,
Mm,
first need to refine it and improve it,
yeah.
taking on board all the feedback we got, and then to continue the journey. And then, if we get funding from the community, then we could further explore with other advisors from the community,
Yes.
and see how that can work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who are watching who are saying, what is the Sway platform? Ultimately, as part of the OpenExO community, we have our EXO economy. And that EXO economy has our Exos token, which we offer grants. And the whole process runs through a platform which is called Sway, which is a decision making platform, an awesome platform that's been developed by a community member. And ultimately, yeah, you can get your ideas funded there with Exos in order to take things to the next level. And it's so awesome to really hear that a team has gone through a certification program, really bonded, come up with something great, and has the opportunity to to test. Right? I mean, experimentation is one of the attributes. And whilst we are all busy, I do think that our community is filled with busy people who are doing many things amazingly well. And I guess there is that saying. I don't know if it's a cliche. If you want something done, ask a busy person. Um, because those are generally the people who get things done. So it's that's really exciting. So you know once once things are put together, generally, if you're part of the OpenExO community, most people share their sway proposals on the platform, and once it's there, yeah, you have the opportunity as the community to vote. Ultimately, we are a emerging DAO in essence. We run this community very much in a decentralized way. Um, uh, in the core, even there's no office here. It's very different. Uh, a lot of people find it very strange, especially those of us who've come from quite heavy corporate backgrounds, which potentially is the future. Maybe it's not. We don't know. But Magdalena, it's really been so refreshing. Hearing from you about how it's been so long since I actually ran the did the coach certification and been coaching, because I joined the core team. I haven't coached in since probably 3 years. So it's really wonderful hearing what you have to say. And I know the team there is doing an awesome job. So really excited to hear that. We've pretty much reached the limit of time. As I said to you, it runs away really quickly. But I do love to always end just with the question of what is it that you'd like to share with people who are watching. Is there one thing that you think is really important for people to know?
Yeah, I can maybe share what I've been through. Since the beginning of this year, kind of my personal journey. I think what I wrote on my vision board in January was follow your passion and it will lead you to your purpose. So I think do follow your passion. This is something I want to say. Then I would like to say trust the process, be open and patient. Eventually, it's going to come to you. And then one quote which came to me last week. I was on holidays and my mission was to conquer my fear of deep water. So I went scuba diving. It was an amazing experience. And then what I reflected out of that is that everything you want is on the other side of fear. So just follow your passion there too, and go solve the global grand challenges or contribute with your own potential and superpower to creating a more sustainable future.
Absolutely. Magdalena, it's been really great speaking to you, really meeting you for the first time, and I look forward to connecting and collaborating in the community. Thanks so much and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So great chatting to Magdalena this evening. As I said, if you want to share your story about your EXO journey, do apply in the marketplace. I want to thank you all, and we'll see you all again next week.